Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. As always, you can catch me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. or whenever I am available. Welcome in. Go tell a friend to tell a friend that Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil is on the air. And we got a lot to talk about as usual. But we're going to talk about one specific individual that is this conversation has been long coming and waiting. And I feel that enough is enough. We have to address this issue. And when I go to talking about it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's talk about business, legal, social, whatever we talk about here. We talk about it and put it out here so you can know what's going on. And I'm Jennings Bernard. And we do what we have to do. As I sit back and think about it and look at this city and look at all the jokesters that we have in office that playing you. Well, we're going to talk about the biggest joker that ever plays you in the history of politics. And we're going to talk about this individual time out, and we're going to tell you why it's time out. It's time for him to go. Been around too long. Manipulation, favoritism, as it relates to him being in that office. And we're going to take this structure and we're going to walk this structure down the line to where we are now. Excuse me, where we are now. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to start thinking as black people for ourselves. We cannot allow certain individuals to lead us, to tell us what to do, to benefit themselves. And the gentleman called him that like you, but this individual has benefited himself off of the black community for over 20 years. Everybody know it, talk about it. He won't say anything as a citizen of this country, and I am. For 73 years, I have been one. Proud to say that I'm one. But I'm not afraid as a citizen of this community, of this country, and having the right to say it by way of freedom of speech. And there are certain things you can't say, you know, with the freedom of speech. You don't go into a building and holler fire, You don't do certain things that crazy. You just don't do it. But to be able to sit back here and talk to you every day and share my thoughts and whatever is in my mind, and I think that need to be addressing, I'm going to address it. That's the bottom line. But first of all, I want you to do me a couple of favors. So many of you watch this program, and I want you to subscribe. Go to this video and push the subscribe button and subscribe it. Tell your friends to subscribe to this program. And this program is going to continue to bring you the information that you need to know. So I need you, all of you, who friend and yourself, you are listening to this program, subscribe it. Subscribe to it on Facebook. And then we got the website up. And the website is Memphis Real Talk. That's one word. MemphisRealTalk.com. When you type that in, you'll pull up the website and you see what we are working and the team is working on to build the site and to put us on YouTube, X, Spotify, Instagram. All of that is coming by way of communication, growing better and better for you. So when you get to the website, memphisrealtalk.com. There's a donation button down at the bottom of that home page where you will see videos of other shows that we are doing that will be on that page. Go down to the bottom and do me a favor and push that donation. No matter how small or how large uh, your donation would be, just push that donation button so we can continue and do what we're doing and do not only bringing you that, but with your donation, we're going to do things outside of this community. This community is in need. We will be able to tell you what we're doing, when we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. But we want you to hit that donation button. We cannot do it without your donation. Go to that Facebook page, memphisrealtalk.com. Sometimes somebody or have to step up to the plate and do what need to be done for the community and for the efforts that we are trying to do for you. Subscribe, push that button on the bottom of this video and subscribe to Facebook and this program. And then go over to memphisrealtalk.com and make a donation. Don't matter, dollar, whatever you want to make. Uh, it's not never too small or too large. Whatever you want to make sure we get this thing moving in a direction that I want to see it go for you. And we would appreciate that. And tell your friend to go to memphisrealtalk.com, make a donation, and subscribe to this program. That's what it's all about, building a communication platform that you and I, we can talk and others can talk, but also remember to share this program and this video, each and every one of them to your friends and family. And then we can grow uh, this thing that we're doing here today. I'm Jennings Bernard. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I'm going to just jump right on into it. It's Friday. We won't be long. But we hope that you have a great weekend. And again, like I said on yesterday, if you take the children out tonight, make sure you hold their hands tight and make sure that they don't run out in the street of this city and get hit. You know, there's some fools out here who will be ripping and running up and down the streets. And we don't want your babies to be hurt. We don't want you to be hurt. So just pay close attention and make sure you arrive back home safely and sound. Uh, look forward to hearing from you. You know the number if you decide to talk, 901-288-5779, 901-288-5779, 288-5779. And feel free to call me. As well, if you don't want to talk and just want to text, you know how to do that. Just go to the comment page, leave your comments. And I definitely want to know where you are, what I'm about to talk about, and your comments. A lot of you have made comments in regard to this, where I posted on Facebook as well as posting it on the website. You can go to the website at memphisrealtalk.com and you can leave your comments and as well as here. But remember to subscribe on Facebook and to make a donation on the website so we can continue to do what we're going to do and bring this to your awareness. And that's what the whole purpose of this program is all about. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart because you are out there listening. You may not call. That's your prerogative. But you're listening and watching, and the record shows that you are sharing this program as well. All right, now we're gonna get into this because I won't be long, as I said earlier. But I think I should talk about this a little bit. And what I want to talk about is Steve Cohen and the Ninth Congressional District. I want to give you a short story, a short fix to what is going on, excuse me, what is going on in the Ninth Congressional District and why that Steve Cohen has been in this seat for over 20, close to 30 years. And I'm going to give you a little bit about it. Steve Cohen, I met him many years ago when I was a young preacher traveling up to Nashville and sitting in the Senate seat in the chamber and watching them as well as in the House. We would go up there and see what was going on. We would make that drive to Nashville, Tennessee. And I saw him, and if I can recollect the conversation that the preachers had, and we was talking about who was he, and they said to me, he's a senator uh, in Nashville, here in Nashville. And I looked at him and I said, okay, you know, me, my mind go to one, and I look at politicians up and down and kind of size them up. But it was something that stuck out, not in a good way, but in my mind, stuck out as an individual waiting for the best opportunity to jump on it. And something in my spirit just let me knew something was about this individual. And as I found out later on, when Harold Ford Sr. was the elected representative in the Ninth Congressional District, and he stayed there for quite a while. After Harold Ford Sr. got out, his son, Harold Ford Jr., became the congressman of this Ninth Congressional District. And this is what you got to understand for the young people who don't understand. I'm going to try to explain it to you. Hanford Sr., when he got there, they were redistricting the congressional district, the ninth congressional district. And when they did that, it kind of carved out the fact that we could have a black representative out of the state of Tennessee to represent black folks in the ninth congressional district in Washington, D.C. It was a great time. I was a young preacher. Matter of fact, I was around when he ran against, Herr Ford Sr. ran against Congressman Kirkendall, if I remember correctly. And them talking about many years ago. And the preachers supported Harold Sr. And then after Harold Sr. got out, Harold Jr. got in it. And then all of a sudden, this individual by the name of Steve Cohen, I remember him, but he surfaced again, physically as well as mentally in my mind, as I recall many years earlier that I had saw him in Nashville. But all of a sudden, he decided to run for the ninth congressional district in a majority black district. But he decided to run. And I'm gonna show y'all the game that's being played on you. And you don't understand it. And I can say this clearly, and I say to him, and he know that I would never vote for Steve Cohen, never have, and never will, because I don't like people who play political games, especially against my people when my people are being led by our people to do certain things that's not benefiting us as a whole. So I could never vote for Steve Cohen, and like I said, I never will. But I'm gonna prove a point to you all as it relates to how sometimes we as a black community, we get lazy. And we take these individuals who's supposed to be our leaders at the time, and they lead us down the wrong path, and we just follow because they supposed to be our leaders. They are in a position that you put them in, and you think they're leaders. They're not leaders, they are opportunists. And whatever opportunity comes up that they can benefit it, you better rest assured that these so-called black leaders, Negro leaders, don't have your best interest at heart. And you can see that the leaders we have had in this city have not really led you down the right path. We can go back and we can talk about the city council, county commission, but I want to stay focused on Steve Cohen. I want you all to understand what I'm talking about. So he decided to run for the ninth congressional district, and 12 of these individuals that look like you and I or more jumped in that race. What is the big way? How do you conquer anything if you can divide it? When you divide it, you can conquer it. Well, those individuals, when the race was open and Harford Jr. was no longer running, then everybody and their grandmama decided they want to jump in the race, knowing that they had no opportunity to win. But this is, in my opinion, where people get caught up on that 30 pieces of silver. There was names in there that knew that they didn't have a chance to win that ninth congressional district seat. But the plan is to divide and conquer. And if you follow me, you'll understand what I mean when I say divide and conquer. When you have 12 to 20 people that's black running in a majority black district, they're going to cut up that 100% of that district, which happened to be black at the time, and then that gerrymandered, and they brought Millington in and others in. It may not be the majority, it may be still the majority, but at a lower percentage now, as opposed to it was a higher percentage when Harford Senior and Junior and them were there. But all of a sudden they jumped in this race. All of these individuals who, no doubt in my mind, in my opinion, that 30 pieces of silver was passed around for individuals to jump into a race, knowing that they didn't have a clue, nor they had the opportunity to win. Now here comes the divide and conquer. Steve Cohen was the only white person that was in the race. Black people, majority of them divided the black vote. And Steve Cohen, with his base of white people, Jewish, whoever, supported him on the other side. All he needed was a certain percentage of the black votes along with the votes that he had, and he ended up becoming the congressman. And this is the sad part about it, is that when he got elected, I was on the radio and I used to ask the people, and they would call in and say, "Well, you talking about Congressman Cohen? He's doing a good job." I would turn the microphone over for 2 minutes. And on the radio, what they call dead air, it became dead air because I would ask people that would call in, "I'm going to give you 2 minutes to tell me what Congressman Cohen has done for you, the majority black in the ninth congressional district." And for 2 minutes, everybody that called in, I had to stop giving them 2 minutes because it was dead air. They couldn't tell me exactly what he has done for the people in that district. And understand something, when Steve Cohen is now doing commercials, and they come in to me by way of email, and I sit and shake my head because he wants to convince you all of what he has done as it relates to the ninth congressional uh, district. He's talking about the bridge, the King Bridge, and what he brought. Y'all need to understand something. Boo Boo the fool with overalls and a screwdriver. If he was elected ninth congressional district, those funds was gonna come to you anyway. If that was an idea, if that's something you wanted to see to happen, it was gonna come to you, no matter who it is. It's not the fact that you went in there and you struggled, Steve Cohen, to make this happen or that happen. It could happen anyway because you sit in the seat and there's something they have pork belly. That means that a lot of funds going to be allocated anyway to certain districts all over these United States. And you heard them talk about they giving pork belly and there's too much and they're going to trim back. Well, they allocate that. So for him to tell you that I've done this, I need to be there, I'm speaking up on behalf of this, that, or the other, you're going to vote because you are a representative of this Congress. But you lead people to believe that you're doing something that can already be done without you and with somebody else in that seat. And I want to educate you all to get you to understand that all of these smoke and mirrors politically that's being put on you and having you to believe that they're doing all of this in a bag of chips. They playing you not only on a national level, but they're doing it on a state, they're doing it on a county as well as a city level. They playing you. Now I put it on there to show you how ridiculous that Steve Cohen is and how bad of a representative he has been in the ninth congressional district. But you're so satisfied and you're happy that in that race, that black people don't even have the courage to even try to run anymore. But we got a soldier, we got a warrior in Justin Pearson who's going to take him on. And I believe he can win if black folks would only use common sense. Now, he's been there too long and doing nothing. And someone called me and I put it on Facebook that he asked me and told me if I would look at the news. He said, it looked like Steve Cohen is losing his train of thought. So I turned it on and I caught it on the late news. And he was trying to explain a situation in regard to the food stamps. And I looked at him and I watched him and I saw exactly what he is. Steve Cohen has gotten to the point that he needs to go. And let me explain to you, and maybe I'll bring it home a little bit on this. I used to run a 100-yard dash in 9.9, sometimes 10.1 seconds. I was a young man. I could run fast, quick, speed in a hurry. I was the captain of the track team at Cypress Junior High. Ran track at Douglas. Played football at Douglas. But all of those years that I did that, I was strong, I was young, and I could do those things. But I realize now at the age that I'm at, 73, I can no longer run a 100-yard dash in 9.1 or 10.17, which I did. I can no longer jump the 120-yard high hurdle as I used to do. I could no longer run the 440 relay and the 880 relay. I could no longer do that because time has caught up with me. But I can sit here with grace, dignity, and respect for you to tell you what you don't see that I see in front of you. And you know that I'm telling you the truth, but you are caught up, tied up, tangled up in the foolishness of the poor leadership that we have in this city. I see often how the buffoonery that is put on you when you have a ballot and they call it the Steve Cohen ballot. At the bottom of it, all of these endorsements of these Negroes who are not strong enough to be at the top of their own ballot, but they want to be on the Steve Cohen ballot. Who made him God? That he could be over folk and tell you who you need to vote for. And that's the thing. I see a problem with Steve Cohen being in there too long. Now he said we got to do the work. He's standing in front of the hall and talking about Speaker Johnson to lock the doors where they can't do anything in regard to the food stamp. The money as tomorrow is supposed to be on. And I read today that the judge has told the Trump administration to use funds to make sure that they fund those cards, EBT cards and other SNAP cards on tomorrow. I saw that. We'll see if the Trump administration do that. It's been said that the judge would order him to make sure that's been done because of so many people will go without food on their table. And I commend the judge for doing that. We will see tomorrow if the uh, money is on those cards. But here we are, and I laid it out that Steve Cohen, I've seen him too many times giving interviews in Washington, D.C., and he's on the scooter. So to me, if you have problems, Steve Cohen, from walking from your office to the chambers of the House, that should tell you you can't run a 100-yard dash at 99.97. You can't even run it in 10.17. You can't run the 880 relay or the 220 relay or 440 relay. You can't do it anymore because your body is telling you you've been here long enough. But I found politicians would rather die in office than to admit that they are no longer able to do the job. Now, I'm not in the position that I'm not able to do the job, but I'm in the position to realize that the 7 times that I ran for office and the buffoonery, the ignorance, the stupidity that went along with these ballots where people in the community that look like you and I was making money off of those ballots, who the Democratic Party went against me for all those terms, and you wonder why I talk about these folks like I do, because I know them. And I say to Steve Cohen, you have been in office too long. You're not in the best of health. If you do anything for the people of the 9th Congressional District, you need to not run. You need to come, and I did the research on you, and your worth is about $6 million to $10 million. That's what they say you worth. And I asked, you made all of that money off of the back of the majority black people in the ninth congressional district. Oh, you went up. You went from a senator to a congressman. You went from a bank account to a bank account that's 6 point, all the way to possibly 10 million, as I read it this morning. You made that off the backs of your constituents. For over 20 years, you became the Tarzan of the black community in the ninth congressional district. You became the slave master over all of these slaves who voted for you in the ninth congressional district. That have sense enough to know that, Master, we free, but we still giving you your vote, like we still picking your cotton, and you laughed all the way to the bank off of the back of black people. And because they're caught up and don't understand what they need, and they're so quick to accept you for doing nothing. And I asked a question, and like I asked many years ago, tell me what Steve Cohen has done for you that will make a difference in your life. I'm saying to you, Steve Cohen, it's over. You need to step away. If you really appreciate the people, you really working on behalf of the people, step away and let somebody can walk the halls without a scooter, can stand tall in the chamber and talk about what we really need in this ninth congressional district. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been hoodwinked, you have been bamboozled, and you have been ran amok. And you know better, but you didn't do better. You rather see an individual in there playing Tarzan over all of you African Americans, and you believe that because he's white, he's right. Even in your own district, that you don't trust anybody else in that district but a Tarzan that came in with the help of others. Do you think, if you go back to the roots days, do you think that it was just the white man going over in Africa and capturing black folks and bringing them back? No, the black folks over there helping them, running them down, and making them slaves. So sometimes we betray ourselves for the 30 pieces of silver. I look forward, ladies and gentlemen, to a new leader in the ninth congressional district. I want you to share this program. I want you to tell any and everybody of what I'm saying here today, because I'm trying to wake you up, to get you to understand it's time out. And I say to you, the next interview that you watch Congressman Cohen do, you listen to him, you watch him, and you see if he's 100% or have the age caught up with him. With age gonna catch up with all of us. But to be in a position like that, you don't need to be stumbling. You need someone strong. You need someone who's there dedicated to represent you. And all of this time, I can't do nothing but shake my head that he's gone from the wealth line of 6 million to right at 10 million off of the back of the constituents in the ninth congressional district. And to all of those individuals who allowed this to happen and get in there, you gonna get yours coming. You reap the wind You through the wind, but the whirlwind will be coming. For everything that you did for 30 pieces of silver to betray your own community, the whirlwind is coming to you. If you were one of those that was in that race that we lost having someone that looked like a, not over the whole state of Tennessee, there's not one person that looked like you and I. Why did Steve Cohen come and jump in the middle of the ninth congressional district? He could have ran in another district that would have been a white district. But he ran and it was strategically done to go and get in there. It was strategically done, in my opinion. And knowing politics like I know it, it was strategy done. And you fell for the okie doke. But you have an opportunity now, no longer to fall for the okie doke, but start turning things around, not only nationally, but locally. And we're going to do that in 26. But by chance, if you don't do it, I'm going to sleep good, I'm going to laugh at you because I gave you the information. I'm telling you what's going on in this community. Everything that they're trying to do now with the Safe Task Force, I told you that before the Safe Task Force got here. I told you that a curfew needed to be in place. I told you that the National Guard needed to be here. But then all of them, they thought that was crazy. But guess what they're doing? They're taking those ideas and making Memphis safe again. So you can't put a boy in a man's job. You can't put a boy on a battlefield of life when he haven't lived a life to know what it is to be up and down and know what it is to figure out how you're going to do this. Ken, Joe Kent, who put an article out in regard to the mayor, Paul Young, and $100 million of the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. We're going to talk about these individuals, and I'm going to post it. It's on Facebook, but you go to my website at memphisrealtalk.com and go to the news, and you'll see the various stories that I'm putting up and making sure that the people working with me keep that site up. And we're going to continue to put the information in. The things that I just told you in regard to what I feel, in my opinion, and knowing what I know. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been played within the 9th Congressional District for over 20 years, almost 30. And in the process, Steve Cohen has gotten rich off of being the representative in the 9th Congressional District and offer your back. It's time for you to wake up. It just do not make sense. And we need to be strong enough in our selection of individuals to say simply this. You have the right to run, yeah, but we're going to let you know that we're not going to go with you because we're not going to have 40 people running for one position, and you're going to have it. You already got an individual collecting money to run for the county mayor. But you're going to have the same thing happen. You're going to have all of these black individuals jumping in the race. Right now, it says that Heidi Coon is the only white person right now that I'm hearing of that's in the race. What do you think going to happen when 7 or 8 people get in that race that are black and they split up the votes and she gets a majority of the white vote, which she played both ends against the middle? You end up being mayor of this city, could be Heidi Coon, because it's all about dividing and conquer. Until we as black people understand that we're going to always be in the second citizen class. And here we are fighting so hard for people that don't even care nothing about you. You talk about and say you concerned about this community when they come down to ICE doing their job. And the same folks you concerned about don't give a about you. If they're here illegally, let ICE do their job. You got to start trying to save the world and save yourself. And the first step is to clear out those individuals, those 6 individuals on that school board. Gotta go, got to go. The city council, who polluting you, in my opinion, by way of the AI. You got to deal with them. And you got to send a powerful message to let them know business as usual is no longer be tolerated by the masses of people who are being looked over in this community. It's time for Steve Cohen to go. It's time for a majority of those city council people to go. And I thought it was going to be a majority of those county commissioners to go if they had not overrode the veto of Lee Harris. I know it. I know his name, but I'm just didn't even want to call his name because somebody asked him and told him to stop acting like a girl. You know, I wonder about that myself. I'm Jennings Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. Now, you have been informed about that 9th Congressional District. My question to you is, what are you going to do about it? It's time for a change. It's time for us to stand up and do the right thing. It's going to get hot this election year coming up next year. They're already running. I'm seeing signs already out of people who want to be clerks and don't have a clue about being a clerk. But you gonna hear a name and you remember a name and you think that name gonna do something. That name gonna do nothing but benefit them and put money in their pocket when you trying to make ends meet. It don't make sense. I'm Jennings Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. Hey, I appreciate you. You have a great weekend. And we'll be back here if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise. You be careful tonight out there with your children. Hold their hand. Make sure they don't run out in the street and get hurt. You take care. May peace be upon you. May God bless you. And may He continue to keep you. Thank God for the law enforcement that are making a difference now, real difference, in the safety of the citizens in this community. And always remember what I said. Trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of them. Take care. Peace.